Greetings everyone and welcome to my channel. I thought it long past time to finish up the Wettcon battle report series. So this video is the last two games. Game 4, and with a decent placing I'm up against a hard VC list. Not at all similar to the last one. This is instead a grind and Wraith army. My army rely much on a quick punch, but it will take many turns before I get through all his chaff, and the quick punch won't make much difference unless it's against a vampire. With few magic attacks, the Wraiths too are a big problem. We played Refuse to Flank and C standards. The deploy went down like this. At the top he has a unit of Wraiths with the two Banshees. Next to dogs and zombies, then vampires with skeletons, next to them two more units of zombies and a necromancer. On the hill are the ghasts, to the left more zombies and wraiths. Sprinkled between everything are loads of bats. And I deployed to go first, since my thinking was if I wanted to win I needed to go really fast on one part of his army before he could get all his units in position. So my target is the vampire, while my lord occupies the ghasts or something like that. From the top of my left flank, big dancer unit, a spear unit and all the crossbows behind, since I didn't see them doing much good in this matchup. In the middle, altar with the spears, general with the dancers, chariot and bolt thrower. Behind the lines, medusas and harpies. My plan is somewhat watered already at first turn, as his race checks my dancers advance a bit, so a semi-quick advance it is. I get the Raven's Wing off on the dancers, which is nice, but the sweeping attack doesn't do a single wound to the wraiths, so that's a bit worse. I get something more off just to get the attribute. Shooting doesn't do anything. He starts off by reaping my dancers, then chaffing the 15 or so that are left. Other than that he stays put. In magic or shooting he panics the dancers, so much for a quick attack. I try to charge the chariot into a block of zombies, but fail. Dancers rally and I continue to advance, though not at full speed. Oracle and crossbow positions on the hill. Magic I can't remember, and shooting might have killed off a bat unit. In his movement he reaps away the last of my dancers. I had tried to cast random move on them both turns, but it was not to be. Dogs go and chaff the altar, bats the dancers, and he backs up some other things. Much like last time I met Albert, he now is one up on the objective, and my plan has changed to try and grab a scoring unit if I can. The death of the dancers also panicked the spear unit, which strengthened that decision. With my plan failing so early, there is not much else to do. My turn again, and the chariot tries another long one on the zombies but fail. Altar unit takes the dogs and the medusa the bats. Spears rally. The oracle leaves the crossbows in favor for the spears. Crossbows back down from the hill. Magic was uneventful and shooting got some wounds in. I forgot to mention I diverted the vampire block with a harpist, I see. In combat both his diverters die. His wraiths at the bottom out of the picture charge the chariot, and I decided to flee, since if they make it I don't have a chance. Ghasts charge the medusa and vampire block the harpies. For magic he probably raised some bats or the like, felt like he did it all the time. In the shooting phase he screamed a crossbow unit to death, which was probably as well, as now my spears with oracle can charge his wraiths and probably get rid of them. On the other hand, His grip on the scenario is now very hard. In combat, the Medusa and Harpist die. At this point I have a crossbow unit standing too wide beside the altar unit, since I plan to move them up as chaff or something. The altar tried a charge and failed. Dancers charged on the newly summoned bats, and spears with oracle made the charge on the wraiths. Getting desperate, I run crossbows up to engage some zombies. Chariot rally. Magic and shooting I can't remember, but in combat I killed both the wraiths and the bats, which is something. He charged in with both vampire block and the ghasts in the altar unit and the skirmish dancers, while diverting the chariot. For magic he raised the numbers of the zombies my crossbows are after. When it comes to combat, my altar breaks, but he can't catch me, which makes the last turns a bit more exciting. His gas apparently never charged. They had just stopped 1 inch away. For my turn, I actually feel I have a chance here. Crossbow units charge 1 zombie unit each, one of them containing the necromancer. Spears with oracle flank charge the vampire block, and it's here I see my chance, as if my oracle and spears can hold the vampire block until my next turn, I hope to charge my altar unit in, which could potentially give me some points, and with a whole lot of luck even the vampire crossbows are just a long shot, not in my favor since he raised a lot of zombies, but I don't got much to lose at this point. Unfortunately I can't reach the necro, which had been nice, but only the now big block of zombies. The oracle and spears make it in, and dancers charge the ghasts. Unfortunately the altar units don't rally, so it's looking really bad. And so much for that slim chance. It's magic, and I cast boosted wheel turns on the skeletons since I'm stupid and misinterpret the wording. It made me hit him on force while I fought it, or freeze in the case of supernatural reflexes, instead of twos, while I thought it would affect his vampires in the next turn, but it don't, so it was only worse for me. Well, so much for my English skills. Shooting kills some summoned bats. In combat I win, since I don't roll any twos at all, and hit everything anyway. But it doesn't matter much really, since it looks grim when he just reforms. For his turn 5 he make a charge with his wraiths into my chariot. I hold and hope for a fail, which never happened. There's not much more happening, but for combat, where my oracle's unit actually stick another round. So here it would have been nice if they could be saved by the altar. Ghosts and dancers continue to grind. The chariot survives and holds. For my turn the crossbows charge the bats. The altar unit rally. In combat the chariot dies, the bat survives. Dancers and the ghasts grind on, but the oracle and spears break. He restrains and aim for the altar, since he can charge the oracle's unit with a bunch of other stuff. Somewhere along the line, the zombies at the top had run down the crossbows, as I failed to mention. The dancers died, by the way, but my general hangs in there, and it should do really well on its own. But My opponent has exactly the right tool for the job to deal with my general as the raids rear charge it. His vampire block make it into the altar unit. He charges around the oracle unit a bit, but can't catch it in the end. In combat his bats die, my general gets chopped up, but my altar unit actually stick, which saves me a bunch of points. Well, what can I say? I was severely outplayed, mostly by my own stupid game plan. I think I need some serious rethinking on how I approach tournament games, I think, which I was too eager for a win. I should have known better and just hung back and shoot at the raids, since there was really not much of a chance. So, 2 badly played games in a row after such an awesome start to the tournament, and I'm feeling a bit demoralized at this point. I got 2 points from this game, which is probably more than I deserved. So with 37 points, I'm still in reach of the point of non-shame. So much like last tournament, I need a big win to get a decent overall result. Also much like the last tournament, I'm up against a gun line, but for the last one. But this time it's the dwarves and not the highborn elves. Smart play had been to just stay out of range, but I don't want to end the day with a game like that, and a draw wouldn't get me past the minimum points I'm after. So the game is Counterfrost and Breakthrough, which should be in my favor. So for the top he has some marksmen, greybeards, more marksmen, deep watch with the characters, flame cannon, hold guardians, and a chopper. Behind that line from the top are a catapult, flame cannon, regular cannon, and a chopper, and then the anvil. On my side from the top, both dancer units and the general, altar with spears, crossbows and oracle. In front, Medusa and Harpies, and lastly around the hill, chariot, bolt thrower and spears. He has some miners too ambushing. My plan is all out advance and hope I can get a charge on our marksman unit to mess up his gun line after I've dealt with them. Hopefully I can avoid the deep watch altogether, but we'll see. All my combat units advance up in a crescent shape, and perhaps I can make a charge or 2 next turn. For magic I cast Twisted Effigy on a cannon, as I'm very afraid for my altar. I got Raven's Wing off too, but I was a bit too afraid of the greybeards, so I just put it on the spears and moved them an inch or 2, since I had lowered the move of the deep watch anyway. Seems like a stupid waste of Raven's Wing when I'm already committed. I might just as well move the dancers to the forest edge at least. For shooting, I hope for statistics to pull through, as I have a better than average chance of shooting down the closest flame cannon. But that wasn't to be. I flunk badly and only do 1 or 2 wounds, which is really unfortunate. In his turn, he starts by diverting my altar block, and the other chopper moves up to shoot the Medusa. Magic buffs some of his units, and since his flame cannon is still alive, it's time for some pain. I did a stupid placement, so it actually has a flank. For the shots he rolls quite good too, killing about 15 dancers. And next he hits with the other flame cannon, killing a bunch more. Marksman also managed to hit despite soft cover and hard target, and that finally, with less than 5 rank and file left, he tops it off with a catapult hitting, wounding, taking 2 wounds from my general, but failing to complete a perfect shooting round, as I'm left with a standard bearer and the wounded general. But I think it's quite satisfied anyway. In my turn, I have one good charge where the chariot can park in the flank of the deep watch after killing the flame cannon. It's rather short, but I fail anyway, and I also charge both his choppers with the altar unit and Medusa. And lastly, since I feel I can't just stay and get shot, I charge the general and standard bearer into a marksman unit. He hits me with on 6s, so my general is in trouble, but I hope for the improbable. And if I make it, it can be enough for the general to mess up his backline. He gets 2 hits, which both wound, so quite contrary to my hope, he killed both of the models. It doesn't stop there though, since that panics the skirmish dancers. Harpies then go up to divert his guardians as I move up the spears. His awesome shooting has scared off all my cool, so for magic I hex his greybeards with random move, or at least evil eye, can't remember really. Shooting kills a guardian. Combat goes as all else so far this game, as in not my way. Both Medusas failed to destroy its prey. Only the altar unit killed the chopper, but failed to overrun into the deep watch, as was my hope. At this point I'm in a really bad position. I can't hope to beat the deep watch without impact hits, and now I failed both chances and lost all pressure on the left. So in his turn he charged the deep watch and the greybeards against the altar unit, guardians against the harpies. Only the greybeards fail, but the others are auto-in. Magic buffs up the watch. Shooting kills half of the skirmish dancers. The deep watch win combat, but I stick. And the altar had taken some wounds, I think. Both Medusas continue to slug it out, and for my turn I have a hard choice for what to charge with my chariot. Either the flame cannon and overrun into the watch, but that feels too little too late, since his greybeards will go in to finish the job if he doesn't fail a stubborn 10 reroll test, which is nothing to play for. Instead I go for the guardians together with the spears to at least get some points. I start to move up the crossbows to go for the breakthrough at least, and the dancers rally. The Medusa finally kill the flame cannon. The other Medusa actually get killed by the chopper. With Death Trance up I do well against the guardians, but can't catch them when they break, since I only pursue with the chariot. The altar unit and the watch continue to grind on, and his king is starting to get to the altar, and he has been a bit on the low side for his D3 wound rolls, and the altar should probably be dead already. For his turn it's time to have some bad charge luck, as his greybeards fail, a quite short one. Magic, he buffs the watch as usual, and shooting kills some more dancers. In combat he didn't need the greybeards as he killed the altar and run down the spears anyway. He also has brought his miners on, so he has the scenario at this point. So my turn, and for the charge phase I make a mistake regarding in which turn I declare them, which feels really stupid. First I declare the Medusa against the cannon. Next the spears against the chopper, who flee and then stops in the way of the Medusa, which make both my units fail charge. The chariot charged the anvil, and now I start to march every crossbow unit for the breakthrough to either go to force him to either go after them and probably fail or commit to a breakthrough for himself. My dancers retreats behind the cliff. For magic I get Raven's Wing off on the spears and place them a little better. For combat the anvil lives, so we're in for another round there. In his turn he decides to go for the breakthrough too, and since the counterfrost deploy is quite big, he will make it unless I can stop his movement in some way, or perhaps panic his miners. For his shooting he kills the Medusa and a bunch of crossbows, and at the end of the turn the anvil still lives. It's turn 5 and I continue to move the crossbows. Spears go up to block the guardians, so to minimize the combat rounds before the chariot can help out. For magic I get wheel turns on the guardian and evil eye on the watch. Bolt thrower still failed to do anything, so the chance to panic his miners is starting to look slim. In his turn he charged the guardians in, and the rest he moves for breakthrough. For combat the spear stick and the anvil finally die. It's my last turn and I need to be sure the guardians go away, so I charge the oracle's unit in and the chariot into them. For magic I get random move off on the watch, which is nice. Now I have a chance of him failing the breakthrough. Shooting failed to cause a panic test, so my hope is for the random move roll to be lower than 6, which isn't probable, but at least it's a chance. I shoot the chopper down, and in combat his guardians go off the board. Seems like they got the chariot before they went though. Last turn of the game, and he gets the 6 and make it into my deploy. At this point we have 4 units each for breakthrough, but he has some shooting left. He almost killed a crossbow unit, and I pass my panic test, so some last turn luck there at least. And by that I tied the scenario. I scraped up some points in the end, so a 16-4 loss it is. That leaves me with 41 points total, which I'm not happy about, but it's how 2.0 has been for me so far. So as usual I had a really good time though, and to get away and play games with nice people is always a treat. Well, that's it for this video, and I have another tournament coming up actually this fall. It's the Necronomicon quest, same as I went to last year. That time I brought my orcs, but this time I will bring the Dread Elves as usual. I haven't really had a real serious game since this summer, so I don't have much hope of doing well, but we'll see if I can get any games in before that. Well, see you another time. Bye.